Hello everybody. I thought I would take a few minutes to show you how to plant a rose bush in a very old rose bed. So roses have something they call, or can get something they call rose soil sickness. That means if you have an old bed like this that's had roses growing in it for 10, 15, 20 years, and if you try and add a new plant to it, the new plant doesn't grow well. The way to overcome that is to dig a huge hole. So I want you to take a look at what we've done. We've pulled a bunch of the soil out here. We've also removed it to other parts of the garden. You can use that soil on anything else, just not on the new rose. So I'm going to start by using a brand new mix that we have. It has a bit of compost, a bit of sand in it, some field mix, but the most important thing, it hasn't grown roses before. So just bear with me, and I'm going to add some into the bottom of the hole. Then I'm going to show you how we're going to position a rose that's only been in a pot for about a month, so it won't even be fully rooted out, and you'll see exactly how the plant comes out of the pot. So let's start by adding a bit of soil in here. Take some of our mix out of here, just like that. The soil that we have here is pretty heavy clay, so we're always amending the heavy clay. You can actually grow fantastic roses in clay as long as it drains. So you add some compost, some perlite, have some drains in the garden, and your roses will grow wonderful in a clay soil. Just want to make sure it's drained. So here we go. We've refilled this tremendous hole that we put in there, and I'm just going to position the rose to see if we're about at the right height yet. I think we're going to be down a little bit too low. Now we're planting in the west coast of Canada. It's still Canada. It can get cold, so we want to have the crown buried about an inch. So I'm going to put a little bit more soil in there. Another big scoop. We already have a bit of starter fertilizer in here. Normally, you're planting something, you might want to add a little bit of starter. You don't need to do that because it's already in this, and the roses that come from us at Select Roses already have starter mix in there. So I'm going to leave that mound there. We'll take the rose out of the pot. So take a look at this plant here. This is a variety called Buxom Beauty. So it's a grafted rose. We potted these about a month ago. They're Canadian grown rose. The reason I've chosen this one is it's a tall growing rose, so I'm planting it beside one that's called South Africa that's a bright yellow, and this is a purpley pink with a huge flower, biggest flower I've ever seen on a rose. And I'm going to do this to take it out of the pot, and we'll see some little white feeder roots that have just started. You can see that there. So if possible, you can hold those together by putting it in hole, just like I did there. I'm going to even position that around a little bit. Oh, success. It worked. It held together. That's ideal if it can do that. If you pull it out of the pot and you just yank it like that, everything's going to fall off. It's going to be a mess. If you're really in a hot climate and you're worried that the new rose is going to wilt right away, the best thing to do is let it finish rooting out so you have a tighter root ball. You would do that by leaving it another 2 or 3 weeks in the pot. Here, we're only having a warm day, maybe of 17, 18, 19 degrees. 5 to 10 degrees at night, so it's much cooler, so we can move the roses quite easily. So I have this rose in here centered in. A bit more soil will start working around the outside of it like this, and add a bit more like so. Because we know we have a very heavy soil, I don't firm it down with my feet. Just get your hands in there a little bit. Make sure that you don't have any air pockets. That's coming along good. And most importantly, don't take the old soil from the outside. That's what is rose soil sick. So you don't want to use that anywhere else in the rose garden. You could scatter it on existing roses, it's fine, but not for the new rose. So we're going to go back to our gator, grab some fresh soil for here. Let's see, another few scoops in here. In there like that. Normally after you've planted a rose, you want to add a bunch of water to the hole. We're due to get 25 millimeters of rain tonight. Rain both Monday and Tuesday. So even though I've transplanted it, I know there's enough moisture in there and rain is coming. I'm not going to add any more water. I know a lot of you watching are probably thinking never plant something without watering it, but if Mother Nature is going to provide, we'll allow her to do it. A little bit more like this. Okay, trusty shovel down. Now you can see the crown is about the level of the soil. Once we complete this bed, we're going to be adding another Buxom Beauty Rose in here, another purple called Twilight Zone over to the front. Then we'll cover the whole thing with about 2 inches of compost, and that'll make sure that the crown is protected here for the winter. So I'm just gonna firm that in a little bit. I think that's about good. I'll get a bit more fresh compost. I'll add that around to the top. So that's the best way to add a new rose into an old rose bed. Really important to dig out a ton of soil. If you had gone to twice the size of hole, that would be even better. Get rid of all of that soil, use it anywhere else. Any other plant will be fine with it, just not roses again. See you in the next video.